Now available on video. 5 new titles in the Rex Hunt Fishing Adventure Series. The Kimberley, Vanuatu, Broome, Africa and Japan. Also available are the Best of Rex Hunt Fishing Australia Volume 1 and the Best of Rex Hunt Fishing Australia Volume 2. Get your copy from Kmart, Target, Myer, Grace Brothers or wherever good videos are sold. Or free call 1800 035 665 for some of the best fish stories you ever saw.
Vanuatu, one of the South Pacific's best kept secrets. With beautiful clear blue water, the friendliest people, and it's only just over 2 hours away. With fantastic resort style accommodation, including Le Méridien Resort and Casino, Hideaway Island Resort and Marine Sanctuary, and Port Vila's newest addition, Blue Water Island Resort. Exceptional value for money, with great facilities, and of course, fantastic sports fishing, with Nikita fishing charters to make any angler's dream come true. And on your free days, try other activities like Kungula yacht cruises. They'll take you to the best snorkeling and diving spots available in Port Vila.
The snorkeling's great because it gives non-divers a chance to check out some of the reefs and fish that are right in Vanuatu's backyard.
Vanuatu, a different time, a different pace, and always a great adventure. Contact Blue Water Fishing Adventures on 1800 777 011. Email us or contact your local AFTA travel agent, a division of Pacific Unlimited Holidays.
G'day folks, thanks for joining us for a special 1-hour edition of Rex Hunt Fishing Adventures. And the Port of Hobart in Tasmania, isn't it just magnificent? But folks, in the middle of winter, I got to get up north, and I dream every time I hit the sack of the Kimberley. You know, it's one of the special places I've been that I go home to my wife Lynn and say, when we have a week off, Dales, let's head up to the rugged northwest. It's beautiful, it's untamed, it's wild, it's Australian, it's part of our great home. The Kimberley and Rex Hunt Fishing Adventures takes a look at this magnificent area. With an area of more than 421,000 square kilometres, the Kimberley is as big as the nations of England and Japan combined. Yet less than 30,000 people live here. Most of these people are concentrated in just a few major centres, like Broome, Derby and Wyndham, leaving vast tracts of uninhabited land to be explored by the adventurous traveller. As you can imagine, with so few people spread through so much remote country, there's lots of wildlife to be seen and some unbelievably good fishing to be experienced. But as well as fish, the Kimberley is also blessed with many other riches. The pearling industry alone generates more than $130 million a year, while the Argyle diamond mine is one of the biggest producers in the world today. To this can be added the considerable wealth generated by zinc and lead mining, beef cattle and agriculture. But these days, tourism is one of the fastest growing and most significant industries in the Kimberley. And it's certainly not hard to see why, folks. It is an ancient land extending from Broome in the southwest to Kununurra and Wyndham near the Northern Territory border. The rugged ranges, rainforest pockets, gorges and waterfalls is what makes the Kimberley truly unique. If the Kimberley is one of my favourite parts of the world, then my favourite part of the Kimberley is definitely El Questro Station. El Questro is on the eastern perimeter of the Kimberley and runs for approximately 80 kilometres into the heart of the region. It offers 5 types of accommodation, something to suit everyone's taste and, more importantly, pocket. Now, if you're looking for luxury in the outback, yibbity yibbita folks, this is it. The homestead is an exclusive retreat built over the magnificent Chamberlain River, and it's home to some pretty big crocs. So if you want to go for a swim around here, folks, might I suggest you use the swimming pool? The air-conditioned rooms all have their own private bathrooms and verandas. And they also have fantastic views of the gardens and river. If nature's your thing, then Emma Gorge is for you. Tented cabins are hidden within El Questro's Coburn Range. Emma Gorge Resort has a large swimming pool surrounded by native trees, and it boasts one of the best restaurants in the Kimberley. If you just want to go it alone and rough it a bit, then you can camp by one of the many river sites. But first we take to the skies in search of the mighty barramundi. The uniqueness of this place is its remoteness. It's wild, it's untamed. And there's no room for Nissan patrols because there ain't no roads. There's these things, the old choppers, whirlybird fishing, all part of the service at El Questro. Wagons, ho! The chopper allows you access to some very special fishing spots, and half the fun, folks, is just getting there. The scenery from the air is just breathtaking. My guide today is none other than the owner of this huge property, Will Burrell. And he's brought me to one of his favourite spots on the Chamberlain River, Explosion Gorge. This is just a beautiful time of the night, isn't it? Ever get sick of it up here, Will?
I haven't yet, Rex. I'll let you know if I ever do.
Oh, good cast, Will. Got to get right in there.
It's a very fishy-looking spot, isn't it?
And lift. Oh, Gee, something just took that right at the boat.
You're kidding.
Oh, you know what this could be. There's no splash, there's no...
They're good eating. They're good eating.
A fork-tailed catfish. Have a look at that. Oh, my. Well, that's a start. Will?
Oh, it's not a bad size. You go 2 pounds. You get a nice fillet off either side of that. And then you got the third fillet, the belly fillet.
Oh, yeah?
And that tastes as close to crocodile as I know.
Well, if ever you and Celia take a belly fillet off me, mate, you could feed the whole lot of them here. The station, the Emmett Gorge and everything.
Oh.
I tell you what, I'll let you go, mate. I've got the old barbless hooks there. A lot of catfish in the system?
There are a lot of catfish.
Yeah.
They get very big too. They put up quite a battle.
Yeah.
And they're quite exciting to catch on the fly.
Well,
They'll take most things, really, catties.
he took that Nils master like there was no tomorrow, so we might just sort of see if he'll go off with those barbless hooks that I've honed down. Off you go, mate. Oh, mate. Yeah?
He's talking to you, Rex.
No, he said, that's Will Burrow. He said, who's that big bloke with the beard? Yes, mate. There you go.
You got him.
So no kiss for him, mate. Did he grab that? I don't know. I think it might be another caddy, mate. I tell you what, I reckon you've brought me to Will's famous catfish hole.
I think maybe.
Oh, gee whiz.
Looking that way a bit, isn't it? No worried.
I think we're getting called because it's getting a little bit late in the day, folks. And in the last troll...
I think that's the chopper pilot trying to say, let's go home.
Have a look at this for a catfish,
Ah,
folks.
beautiful.
So today, our first day at Estuary has been Catfish Day. And the helicopter pilots are getting a little bit hungry. And we've had a good day on Explosion Gorge. Tomorrow's another day at Estuary in some of the most beautiful country in Australia and the world. It's our country and we should be proud of it. But I tell you what, I know I'm not going there, but if heaven's anything like this, I wish. Not bad terrain here, Will.
It's a little bit pebbly, isn't it?
You want to get the grader out here, mate, or get your money back if he's been through.
Yeah. Well, should we have a flick in here, Rex? What do you think?
Nice looking deep bit of water.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Some good shoulder across the other side there too, Will.
Yeah, we'll get him right in under those pandanus, I think.
Thank you very much. Will, is this all part of the old Estuary estate?
Yep, it is. There are 4 rivers on Estuary, and this is the Chamberlain. It's one of them.
So the man who actually fishes the river owns the river?
Some of the time, yeah, I enjoy to get the line wet.
Isn't this amazing? Now, apart from heli fishing, say if a guy wanted to do it in a tent on a budget, can he sort of fish some nice pristine water like this?
Yeah, absolutely. No, we've pushed roads in with bulldozers into a number of these waterways that were otherwise absolutely inaccessible. And a lot of them have got little tin dinghies in there, which we rent out for sort of half a day or a day or whatever. And we make sure that they're only sort of one group of people fishing in each waterhole. So you still feel the Kimberley and the isolation, because that's what it's all about up here, really.
Jesus, hook up! Got it! Got a barrow, Rex!
Are you sure, Will?
Yep, good fish, good fish. Very nice fish. Very nice fish.
Are you sure, Will?
He's got a nice dance. Back on him! Look at him dance. He's dancing for us, Rex.
Well, he's dancing back where I come from. Then
He's
goes
got
my
a
rod.
hook up as well! Fantastic! Oh, God, it's just going off.
Will, settle down. We don't want a heart attack victim here.
Oh.
Now, that was incredible, folks, because I had that lure out. I was just watching Will catch a fish, and I've got a caddy.
So, very nice fish, Will. Look at that for a beautiful barramundi.
Nice little comfort left there. Oh, I'm getting in the water. Fantastic. That's not a bad bar. You can see the way he's sucked that spearhead right down his gob. I'm just going to try and get it out of his gob now. I do get overexcited, I'm sorry. I love my fishing. I really do. God, he's sucked the other one right down. Gonna have to really get into it now. We got a problem here. We're gonna have to do a bit of surgery. You can see we're using barbless hooks, which makes it easy to get them out, but this poor fellow, yeah, I got him. Okay. Away you go, fella. Away you go.
Ah, beautifully done, Will. It's lovely to see him go back to leave them for me next time I come up here. Well, folks, the old catfish there. Catfish Rex, they call me. Don't you go biting me on the leg. But isn't that just magnificent? Over the top of that hill, as far as the eye can see, about 100 kilometres to the next range. It's wild, it's beautiful, it's Australia. And Will, I'm sure that if you don't get excited, the producer will tell you you're hooked up again.
I'm afraid so, Rex. It's another little catfish there, I think. Another little catfish. I thought it was a barra the way you took it as well.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't a barra, because we don't have a sound recordist anymore. You blew him over the top of that reef.
Well, that's quite exciting. He's being chased by other people down there as well.
He's been chased by other people, is he?
Fish are people, I think. Fish have souls. Stubborn, man.
Well, he's not bad, is he? Hey, Will.
Whoa! What is it?
It's a catfish, Will.
No, it isn't.
It's a catfish, Will.
You had a better look than I did.
No, I didn't see it, Will. I just know what is happening to the end
You're
of your rod.
absolutely right. It is another catfish.
He does get excited, this chap, doesn't he? And I tell you what, it's just magnificent to be able to, well, experience flying to some remote area that possibly no one's ever been before, and be as close to nature as what we've been today. It's been a real privilege for me. I left Will on the bank of his river for an appointment further north. Truscott, now run by Santos Mining and the Columbaroo Aboriginal Corporation, was built in 1944 and named after an Australian hero in the Second World War, Squadron Leader Keith Bluey Truscott. Built on the Anjo Peninsula, the 8,000-foot strip was part of a secret base used by the Allies for long-range missions into the Netherlands East Indies, Dutch New Guinea and beyond. These huge Liberator bombers would take off at Truscott with some 8,000 pounds of bombs on board, fly for hours to their targets, drop their loads and turn around and come home. The name Liberator was given to the aircraft by designer Reuben Fleet, who said, "We chose the name Liberator because this airplane can carry destruction to the heart of the Hun, and thus help us to liberate those nations temporarily finding themselves under Hitler's yoke." One pilot described flying the Liberator like sitting in your lounge room window and flying your house. It was that big, folks. Sadly though, on the 20th of May 1945, a number 12 Squadron Liberator took off from Truscott overloaded. In an attempt to clear trees at the end of the strip, the pilot pulled back on the stick and the aircraft stalled into the ground, killing all 11 crew members on board. The remains are still littered here as a reminder of the cost of freedom that we all enjoy today. These trucks were used as support vehicles to the base and were just left as they are, as the cost of getting them out of such a remote area was just too great.
So at the end of the war, they were just left here to rust. Well, folks, this is home for the rest of the journey. And its owner and our host, Kevin Blatchford.
Yeah, Rex, this is Mark Longhurst.
Good to see you, Mark.
Rick, welcome to Backlash.
Thank you very much. Looks okay to me. Yeah, thank you very much. Gee, it's been a while since I've done that. I tell you what, folks, this is absolutely take no prisoners, leave no food on the plate. Steve Starling.
G'day, mate.
How are you, son? Your Honour, good to see you.
How you doing, Rex?
Judge Cole Roberts from the Kimberley region. Well, isn't this fantastic? Like old home week here, mate, isn't it?
It is.
There's no doubt about it, you can smell a free lunch about 500 kilometres away.
Talking about lunch, Rex, I'd like you to meet Vern. Vern Longhurst, she's the hostess.
Pleased to know you, Vern.
Welcome aboard, Rex.
The Director of Cuisine, the most important person on board, folks.
One of the best ways to explore the extensive Kimberley coast is by boat. And they don't come much better than the beautiful charter vessel Backlash. I caught up with Backlash and her crew in Vanuatu Bay, not far from Truscott Airport. Now folks, this is the only way to travel in these pristine waters. It is truly a floating luxury home, and it certainly has all the comforts of home. 68 foot of comfort, folks. Our skipper planned to cruise eastwards around the top of the Kimberley coast to Cambridge Gulf and Wyndham, sampling some of the blue ribbon sport fishing opportunities available along the way. And I tell you what, I was as excited as a kid in a lolly shop at the thought of the voyage and the fishing that laid ahead of us.
Well, the most important thing to do, folks, when you go bait fishing is catch the bait. We've got our trusty bag of Western Australian pilchards, but there's nothing like a bit of local fodder to set up a lovely bait fishing segment. The judge has been good enough to do the honours. Late afternoon, change of tide, everything's looking pretty good.
Sounds like a big GT, Rex.
But you get nailed.
Yeah, on the way up on that strip bait. There's a few sharks around here too, so I better get him in pretty quick if I can.
Oh, big fish.
Oh, off he goes. Oh.
Big fish, Your Honour.
I spend too long on him. Sharks, every chance of a shark coming in and nailing him.
You've got to get, the more I let him go, the more a chance I've got of being shark-armed. Getting a shark job, as they say in the classics.
Oh, look at him go.
Yeah. Now, behave yourself, son.
We're in trouble here, Rex.
I tell you what, Your Honour, you didn't say it was going to be like this. Physical exertion.
Oop.
On you go, sir.
I'll swap your spots if you like. I'll go under.
Good on you, sir. Well, thanks a lot. Oh, come on, lifting and one. I tell you, I'm surprised we haven't been shark fixed up here. We haven't got a shark job. Oh.
Got colour, Rex.
Yeah, I got colour too, it's red.
Got your hands.
Oh, me face. I tell you what, this is woofer valve material here, mate.
Oh, nice GT.
How about, what do you reckon he'll weigh?
15, 18 pound.
Gee whiz. What have we got here, sir? Have his mate, do you think?
Absolutely.
I tell you what, it's tough on man and tackle. Look at the sharks!
No, look! Bad luck, old son.
Now, folks, I've never caught one of these before. This is a backless, stomachless giant trevally, the razor gang. And listen, kids, don't get too upset because this is the law of the jungle, the law of the piscatorial kingdom. Eat or be eaten. And you've got to be careful up here. There's no swimming.
because you might end up crocodile droppings.
Oh, there you go, another shark.
Another shark, sir? We might give him a bit of a feed.
Yeah.
Now, sir, where are we?
Where are we?
Yeah, well,
we're at the
where-
mouth of Vansittart Bay,
Yeah.
near Cape Bougainville in the northern Kimberley. Pristine country.
I tell you what, it's pristine, all right. I don't reckon even Captain Cook's been here, mate.
Well, the amount of crocs we've seen today.
That is quite incredible, isn't it? Now, that's a much smaller version, but I tell you what, that is just fantastic, folks.
What you got there, Rex?
I got a little reef shark, sir.
Oh, bad luck.
What's that? Look at that, it's a croc.
My God, look at the grotesque head on it.
That's got a head rougher than yours, sir.
Oh, that's very nice,
Hey,
isn't it?
just keep your eye on that if you don't mind. I'm not going to be long here because this shark, folks, is going to give me the old bite-through trick. Now, oh, it's a little shark here. I'll see if I can get it across there to John for him to give the folks a bit of a look, because I just don't know. It's a black tip, is it? Little whaler?
It's all, yeah.
Oh. I tell you what, my doctor sees me doing this, mate, I'm in all sorts of trouble. He said not to get excited. Not to get excited. He said as soon as the footy's over, Rex, you got to take it easy. You come out, you bring me up here.
Pretty hard to relax up here,
And there
mate.
she is, she's yibbity folks.
She's done it.
The old teeth. You got teeth like Dick Emery, you know? Dick Emery said, "Good evening, ladies and gentlemen." With those stupid teeth. Just straight through there like a razor blade. Whew. Thank your mother for the rabbits, because you'll never thank her for the sharks. Have a look at that for sunset. Another day in paradise, folks. It doesn't get any better than this. You want to put your passport in your back kick. Mangrove Jack a la backlashes wafting in with the breeze. And there's a beautiful meal awaiting us back on this floating 5-star hotel. Well, folks, this is a perfect example of the living reef on Long Island up here in the Kimberley. And as the last of the run-out tide drains into the nearby Indian Ocean, it exposes just what an intricate life support system it is. Now, Skipper Mark, just within a radius of about 20 metres of here, has collected some pretty interesting stuff. The elephant man of the sea, Mark, I thought he was dead years ago. What on earth is that? If I saw that in a cow paddock, I'd walk around it, son.
Yeah, Rex, that's what we know as the sea cucumber, otherwise known as beach demur. When it's cooked, it's known as trepang. And that's what the Indonesian fishermen have been coming down for years, collecting off our reefs. This particular species is called the sandfish.
Just beautiful. Now, what I've been very impressed with up here is that you would think that that came from a craft or art shop and had been actually varnished. I think there's a lot of dried starfish available in tourist areas, but to see them naturally on the reef, they all have a part in nature.
They certainly do. As you can see, there's a number of different varieties in such a small area.
Well, have a look at that bloke there. He's got about a roof over the tool shed, just like me. But I tell you what, we'd see them about a 30th of that size in Port Phillip Bay. Now, here's an interesting character over here, Mark. It's the filter system, the lifeblood of the sea, of course. It's a giant clam, and a very pretty one at that. But to coin a phrase, folks, he's clammed up on us today, mate.
He has. But one thing of interest to note around here, Rex, is that if you just look around the reef, it all looks as though it's fairly dead to the eye.
Yeah.
And it's not until you actually stop and take the time to observe one very small area that you notice, well, okay, well, there's a clam, very well camouflaged in the rocks. Yeah. The same with the beach demur.
You see quite clearly there that when he opens up, it's going to be just a kaleidoscope of colour, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got little anemones over there.
Yeah, I saw that over there. Is that safe to pick up?
Oh, he might sting you.
Oh, thanks very much. You see, what we've got here is remnants of dead anemones, like this particular fellow down here. That's yibbity folks, that's all. But on the top there, the anemone will probably come out and blossom as the tide moves up. And this is an interesting character we'll get to very shortly. But folks, I suppose it's worthwhile mentioning, Mark, that when one life ends on the reef, another one starts. And have a look at there, peekaboo. Yeah. Have a look at that in there, folks. That is a cleaner wrasse. And I can tell you now, he'll be buzzing in and out of that shell as this tide makes its way over this glorious living reef. Now, the old French horn, mate, I tell you what really is it?
That's a conch shell, Rex, and you're right, that is what they make the horn out of.
Yeah.
They blow a little hole in the end here on the dead ones, of course, and you can get a fairly good tune out of them.
Yeah, well, I couldn't get a tune out of anything, mate. You wouldn't want to come here with bare feet. You wouldn't want to come here leaving your boat down there because you might be a kilometre away. What are some of the golden rules, Mark, about reef walking?
Well, first of all, you've got to know what the tide's doing, Rex. If it's a falling tide, you've got to make sure that your tender is in a position that you're not going to get stranded, because it could be a few hours' wait. As you know, all of this reef, although a lot of it looks dead, it is all living. Everything's living.
Yeah.
Everything's a home for something else.
Yeah.
So when you walk around, you just pick the little sandy spots. You don't walk over the coral and break the coral. If you pick something up like the anemone, you're nice and gentle, and then you put it back down the same way, because there's probably a little fish that was living under it.
Yeah.
And of course, the right attire. You've got to wear some good shoes to walk on the reef. Some of the corals do sting. You could find stonefish, so there's a lot of dangerous things. And of course, slip, slop, slap.
Yeah, plenty of that, folks. I tell you what, it's a real pleasure to be up here in this marine sanctuary. But quite seriously, this is ours. We've got to preserve it for the next generation. And man has no right to interfere with it.
Well, folks, after that walk on Long Reef, I was pretty keen to wet another line. But Mark had other ideas. We jumped into the dinghy and headed up the King George River. And as you can see, it's well worth the visit. The King George flows into the Timor Sea, and at the moment is virtually landlocked at its mouth. These fossilised limestone cliffs were formed some 350 million years ago. But there's an estuary up the track a bit where the water flows a little strangely for my liking. Come on, I'll try to explain.
Well, folks, with me today, the human incinerator Steve Starling and the judiciary, Judge Cole Roberts from Broome. Now, they're two of the best-known writers for modern fishing in Australia, and they've invited me on a bit of a sortie up this marvellous estuarine system at the top of Vanuatu Bay. And one of the inhabitants, as you can see, has already said, by gee, there's Steve Starling and Cole Roberts, who's that other bloke? But this is just sensational. There are some things you can't put a value on. And in Rex Hunt's Fishing Adventures, don't worry the Rex Hunt fishing business, folks. This is truly adventures at its very best. Cole, this is quite a unique area in that clearly, if my peepers haven't done me a disservice, I reckon there's 1.5 foot, 2 foot of water above us, and it's like a waterfall. I know the tide's coming in, but what's happening here?
What you've got is a natural rock barrier here. Tide comes in, actually has to go over the rocks before it then flows upstream down to the water level, which is on the upstream side lower than the tide side. So it physically flows down until it reaches an equilibrium. Once it reaches equilibrium, it will slow down, then it'll turn and go out, and in the end we'll end up with another rock barrier. And in fact, the tidal water will be lower on the outside than what it is on the inside.
Oh, I understand. It's like time on being time off and time on being not off. It's like when the tide's in, it's not in, but when it's out, it's not really out because it's coming back in because it didn't go out in the first place.
Something like that.
Thank you very much. Oh, yes! Something. Could be a finger mark, mate.
Yeah, that's a finger mark. Oh, beautiful.
Isn't it a beautiful little finger mark brim?
Oh, the colour's great on them.
Now, do they grow into golden snapper? Is that what they call them?
Golden snapper's the Northern Territory name for them. The correct name is really finger mark.
Is it? Not unlike in its characteristics mangrove jack, are they?
Incredibly closely related. This is Lutejanus johni, and the other one's Lutejanus argentimaculatus.
Also known as spotted scale sea perch.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful fish to eat. Might put that one back, eh? We've got enough fish.
Yeah, got no shortage of fish around here.
Holy, look at him. You got your friend there, Steve.
Yeah, he wants this jack, I think.
Tell you what, look at him coming in on a...
He's not going to have it.
Hey, mate. Now listen, this is Rex Hunt Creek. This is not Crocodile Dundee Creek.
Excuse me.
Look at him.
Oh, he's going for the, what's
Oh
it?
no, he's going for the jack. Oh, the jack's swimming hard to get away from him. Don't they go hard in this current?
Good size jack too.
Yeah. So, one more for the Barbie.
Oh, I think so.
I don't like putting my hands in here very much.
Cook gave us strict instructions to bring home some jacks.
Okay, there's one. Nice mangrove jack on the new Rapala Husky Jerk. A plastic-bodied Rapala. They're famous for their timber lures, but they also make beautiful plastic lures with rattles. And I'll tell you what, it's been working really well, especially in that blue metallic finish. What a great-looking fish. Watch your feet there, Rex. Look at that mullet. That's a scary monster mullet.
Trying to get him out of that mangrove system. I tell you what, they've got some power, these jacks. Cole, how are you going with yours?
Yeah, got him here now. So I'm just leaving him in the water.
Yeah, I reckon I saw something behind my jack.
Oh, yeah, definitely. There's at least 2 more jacks there,
Is
I
there?
reckon. Yeah.
What happens here? They sort of all get the message, Steve, do they?
Exactly, I think. Oh, there he is, there he is. They put out vibrations and excitement and, you know, it turns the other fish on.
All right. Well, as long as it doesn't turn that croc on, mate.
That's what you've got to be careful of.
I want my breakfast.
Go
I don't
ahead
want
and
him.
land yours now. I think they've lost the buzz
Well,
of excitement.
There he is. Look, Steve, over the right.
Yep.
We're under strict instructions to take some lunch back, Your Honour.
Yes, indeed.
So we better keep this one and you can give yours a bit of a kiss.
Yep.
Look at that. Mangrove jack. Tell us a bit about the mangrove jack before we go back, mate.
Yeah, well, he's in the lutjanid family that includes a lot of these fish that look the same. The Americans call them snapper. And they've got a mouthful of teeth, very canine teeth. They're an ambush predator. They'll sit behind a rock in the current and bang, they hit the bait fish as they come by. Beautiful fish. He can grow to 8 or 9 kilos, but usually the big ones move out onto the deep reefs. The fish up to about 3 or 4 kilos are found in the estuaries. Beautiful eating fish.
Your Honour, give us a look at yours. And his worship's fish?
Giant trevally. Not called a giant because this one's particularly big, but that's just the name of the species.
Call them blurters?
Blurters. GTs, erroneously known as turrum. People used to call them turrum years ago. They're not a turrum, that's a gold spot trevally is a turrum. You can pick the GTs by the big powerful jaws and the teeth. Bit of yellow here on the fin tips, very sharp scoots, modified lateral line scales here that can cut your finger to the bone if you're not careful. Pretty good to eat too, but we might... Look, there's a little shark. Look at that little black-tip whaler there.
Well, while Steve still plays with his toys, the waft of bacon and eggs comes from Backlash. It's time to head back for a little bit of filling of the stomach. Mangrove jack, trevally, the whole lot. It's been a marvellous morning for Mo, Larry and Curly. The Three Stooges. It's time to go back. We're going to do some more this afternoon when the tide goes out a bit. Come on, you blokes, let's go and eat.
Just in here, I think, mate.
Okay, Steve.
That should be pretty right there with the tide dropping. Probably have to haul it back into the water when we get back. This is a secluded little beach on the shores of Vanuatu Bay in the northern Kimberley region of Western Australia. Now, I'm here with Col Roberts, who most of you know as our fishing guru in the northwest. But what you might not have realised is that Col is also one of Australia's leading outdoor photographers. And today he's going to show me one of his favourite places and also show me some rock paintings that may be amongst the oldest of their kind in the world. There are some really mysterious stories attached to these paintings and I'm looking forward to seeing them. Let's get into it, mate.
Okay, Steve.
Aren't these rock formations fantastic up here with the big clouds behind them and everything?
Terrific. There they are there, Steve. See on that face there?
Oh, yeah, under the ledge and along there.
And over there.
Yeah.
Let's go take a closer look.
Here. Oh, wow. They're incredibly detailed when you get up close to them, aren't they?
Yeah, sure are.
The fine detail on the lines are incredible, aren't they?
They sure are, Steve.
They're like no other Aboriginal paintings I've ever seen.
Oh, and they're completely different to the Wandjina paintings, which are probably more well known in the Kimberley, but they're located further to the south of this area.
Right. This particular style of rock art are called Bradshaws. They were named after Joseph Bradshaw, an explorer who came through this area in the 1890s and first saw these paintings and sketched them himself and described them. They're very mysterious and there's a lot of things we don't know about them. Part of the difficulty in aging them is the fact that none of the paint or pigment actually remains on the rocks. What's happened is, through some unusual phenomena, they've actually etched themselves into the rocks, and that makes them very hard to age. But look, what we do know is that the Aboriginal people that live in this area and who know all about the Wandjina paintings further south have no idea what story these paintings tell, and they don't really know who put them there. They were here when they got here, however many years ago, 20, 30, 40,000 years. So they come from a different group of people in a different age. The Aboriginals had a lovely story that they were actually painted by birds. They believed that birds flew in here, pecked the rock face until their bills were bleeding, and then they painted these unusual figures on the rocks. Look, we'll probably never know exactly who did them, but when we do uncover a few more of the secrets of these fantastic pieces of art, we'll know a little bit more about the ancient history of this land. Cole's photography is very well known through a lot of the fishing magazines here in Australia, but I understand, mate, that late last year you released a coffee table book. In fact, I know you did because I've got a copy of it at home. It's a fantastic book. How many years of work went into that?
It's about 3 years, Steve, and travelled right throughout the Kimberley, helicopter, plane, boat, and walking, of course, the old hard slog, pretty rugged country. But got into a lot of the remote areas and captured some really pristine country, and I hope that people enjoy.
Well, I think it's unique. I've seen some pretty good photographic records of the Kimberleys in the past, but I think yours might just have the edge on the others. You've done a great job there, mate.
Thanks, Steve.
Great. Ever since I first heard and read about this unique and ancient form of rock art that we now call Bradshaws, I've wanted to come here to the northern Kimberley and see it for myself. And now that I've been here, I feel really honoured and privileged. It's added another chapter to the Kimberley story for me.
So folks, another interesting part of this marvellous Kimberley region is this area called Long Reef. Your Honour, I just saw something go through there. I think it was a shark, but we've had a bit of a vision here as Kevin just introduces a bit of burley to an area about 6 or 7 foot deep. There are sharks, there are trevally, there are turtles. And to just show you, have a look at those sharks. We're going to have no chance of getting past them, I wouldn't think. But still, we'll give it a go. There's a little bait fish down there. He has got absolutely no chance. We're improvising, we haven't got a lot of hooks. How well am I prepared? It's all back there, but I'm going back there to get it in a moment. But His Honour has got a saltwater fly with a bit of bait on it, sir, and I'll let you have the honour. At the first 440 yards par 4, His Worship Judge Cole Roberts from Broome. Off you go, sir. What do you reckon the chances you'll get
Saltwater
nailed?
fly, because we run out of hooks, so...
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Good chance of being nailed pretty quickly, I'd say.
Good shot, sir. Straight in the fairway.
Here we
You're
go.
off straight away.
We're off.
And
It's a shark.
it's a shark. You enjoy this, sir? Do you?
It gets a bit tiresome on sharks all the time.
Oh, yeah. Not another fish. I'll take you fishing down the bay.
Oh.
I'll take you fishing down the bay, Your Honour, and then you'll just see what we've done to our bay.
What have you done to it?
We've all done plenty to it, mate.
That's that one you hooked earlier.
Yeah.
What
Look at
size of
him.
Little spots in that on him?
Yeah, he's a big fish. He is a big fish, sir. A better displacement, sir. No wonder when you pull him out of the reef, out of the water, the reef comes out.
You see, he's got half the bottom with him, this little aquarium fish and moras.
See, that's what I'm on about. All these mouths have to be fed, and when they're in the right environment and you leave it alone, they seem to cope, don't they?
Yeah. Look at that, all those yellow fish with him hanging off his nose.
He's got a sort of a thresher type tail, hasn't he?
Yes.
He's a 50 or 60 kilo fish.
He is.
So yeah, he weighs about the size of my thigh. Good cooking on board back ways, is it?
Oh, no.
You're going to tell Karen it was all low calorie, is it?
I thought you were talking about cooking the sharks.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, all over Ralph.
Well, she's not all over. Because tomorrow's another day. His worship got done, case dismissed on the Court of Petty Sessions of Long Reef. Just absolutely magnificent. Well, folks, that's the Kimberley. And if ever I can recommend anything to anybody, I say with the greatest enthusiasm, get up there. It is a fantastic part of the country. Until we meet in the wonderful world of fishing again somewhere, folks, I'm Rex Hunt. Oh, I missed him. And better fishing to all of you. See you for now. Oh, I just had a bit of a touch there then, folks. In these particular situations with a lot of overhanging area, there's likely to be in a storm a bit of foliage fall in and a little bit of cover for the fish. And I usually carry 2 rods. Now this particular rod here is called the Rex Hunt Shorty. Now no smart comments or letters, but this particular rod enables me to get into these nooks and crannies. You believe me? The check's in the mail? No, folks, this is what happens when you become a whirly bird that's got no brains. Rotor blade, 2 metres ahead, 2 metre rod, yibba yibba. That was all, folks.
Now available on video, 5 new titles in the Rex Hunt Fishing Adventure Series. The Kimberley, Vanuatu, Broome, Africa and Japan. Also available are the Best of Rex Hunt Fishing Australia Volume 1 and the Best of Rex Hunt Fishing Australia Volume 2. Get your copy from Kmart, Target, Myer, Grace Brothers or wherever good videos are sold. Or free call 1800 035 665 for some of the best fish stories you ever saw.